I, The Hidden Layer, Beneath the Twist. You remember the ending. You've quoted it, mimicked it, maybe even spoiled it for someone who hadn't seen it yet. The Sixth Sense, M. Night Shyamalan's 1999 psychological thriller, is etched into pop culture not just for its ghost story, but for that revelation. Dr. Malcolm Crowe was dead the whole time. But what if I told you that twist wasn't the real secret? What if the true brilliance of the film lies not in the shock of its final minutes, but in the quiet architecture of grief, performance, and cinematic restraint that makes the twist feel inevitable in hindsight? Let's pull back the curtain on the choices most viewers never notice. The emotional scaffolding, the visual grammar, the casting alchemy that transformed a clever plot device into a haunting meditation on loss. This isn't just a movie with a twist. It's a masterclass in how to embed truth inside illusion, and the detail that changes how you see it is already there. In every frame, every silence, every glance you thought was ordinary. Tagne, Origins in a Changing Hollywood. By the late 1990s, Hollywood had grown skeptical of original screenplays. Franchises ruled, sequels sold. Yet in this climate of risk aversion, a young Indian-American filmmaker from Philadelphia sold a spec script for $3 million, as a record at the time, to Disney's Hollywood Pictures. M. Night Shyamalan, then only 28, had already written and directed 2 modest features, but The Sixth Sense was different. It carried the DNA of classic ghost stories, the innocence, Don't Look Now, but filtered through suburban realism and child psychology. Shot on a tight $40 million budget in Philadelphia during the fall of 1998, the production operated under near-total secrecy. Disney executives, wary after box office disappointments, gave Shyamalan unusual creative control, but only because they assumed the film would be a modest art house release. The Sixth Sense premiered on August 6, 1999, with little fanfare. Within weeks, word of mouth turned it into a phenomenon. It would go on to gross over $672 million worldwide, become the second highest grossing film of the year, and earn 6 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Supporting Actor for Haley Joel Osment. But none of that success explains why the film still resonates decades later. That answer lies deeper than the box office. The third, the persona paradox. Bruce Willis was already an action icon by 1999, John McClane, hard-boiled cop, sardonic hero of explosions and one-liners. Casting him as Dr. Malcolm Crowe was on paper a mismatch. Yet that dissonance was precisely the point. Shyamalan didn't want a ghost, he wanted a man who looked like he belonged in the living world. Willis's star power masked the character's spectral truth, making his presence feel natural, even comforting. Off-screen, Willis embraced the role's restraint. He shaved his head slightly to appear more academic, softened his voice, and studied child psychologists to ground Crowe's demeanor. But the real paradox wasn't just about casting, it was about performance. Willis plays Crowe as a man weighed down by failure, guilt, and isolation. He speaks slowly, moves deliberately, rarely smiles. In every scene with Cole Sear, he listens more than he talks. This wasn't the Bruce Willis audiences knew, and that's the cost behind the glow. To make the twist work, Willis had to disappear into stillness, sacrificing his trademark charisma for emotional authenticity. The irony? His most restrained performance became one of his most iconic, not because of what he did, but because of what he withheld. Chapter. The decision that changed everything. Early drafts of The Sixth Sense included scenes showing Malcolm interacting with other adults, colleagues, neighbors, even his wife in shared social settings. But during pre-production, Shyamalan made a radical choice. Eliminate almost all scenes where Malcolm speaks to anyone besides Cole or his wife, Anna. This wasn't just about pacing, it was structural sleight of hand. By isolating Malcolm within the narrative, the film subtly trains the audience to accept his solitude as emotional, not supernatural. We assume he's withdrawn because of trauma, not because he's invisible to the world. Even more crucial was the decision to shoot all of Malcolm's scenes from his perspective. The camera never lingers on empty space where others should react to him. When he walks through a crowded hallway, we see only his face, not the people who don't see him. This visual discipline, rigorous, almost obsessive, ensured that rewatchers wouldn't spot clues that felt like cheating. Instead, the truth emerges through absence. No one pours him coffee. No one answers his questions in group settings. No one touches him except Cole. The choice that changed everything wasn't adding a twist. It was removing everything that would make the twist feel like a trick. V. On-set reality. Check filming. The Sixth Sense was grueling, especially for its young lead. Haley Joel Osment, just 10 years old, carried the emotional weight of nearly every scene. To protect him, Shyamalan limited takes, avoided night shoots when possible, and rehearsed extensively, so Osment never felt lost. Still, the psychological toll was real. In one particularly intense sequence, the closet scene where Cole confesses, "I see dead people," Osment reportedly cried between takes, overwhelmed by the character's fear. Toni Collette, playing Cole's mother Lynn, drew on her own experiences with anxiety to portray maternal desperation without melodrama. She and Osment developed a real-life bond that bled into their performances. Their scenes together pulse with unspoken love and exhaustion. Meanwhile, Shyamalan maintained near-monastic focus on set. He banned cell phones, discouraged improvisation, and insisted on precise blocking. Every prop, every shadow, every door left ajar was intentional. The production operated under such tight control that even crew members weren't told the full meaning of certain shots until editing. The result was a film that feels dreamlike yet grounded, a balance achieved only through relentless discipline and emotional honesty. 6. What most fans miss rewatch. The Sixth Sense, and notice this, Malcolm never eats, not once. In dinner scenes, he pushes food around his plate. At the school function, he holds a glass, but never drinks. At home, Anna prepares meals alone. This isn't an oversight, it's a silent signal. The dead don't consume. Then there's color. Shyamalan uses a muted palette throughout, but red appears only in specific contexts. The church door, Cole's sweater, the balloon at the birthday party, Kira's tent. Red marks moments of spiritual significance or danger. Malcolm wears no red, ever. His wardrobe is blues, grays, browns, colors of detachment. Another detail, reflections. Mirrors and windows are everywhere in the film, yet Malcolm never appears in them unless Cole is present. In the car scene where Cole reveals his secret, Malcolm's reflection is visible in the rearview mirror because Cole sees him. But in the bedroom scene with Anna, as she sleeps beside him, the mirror shows only her. He's absent from the world's surface. These aren't Easter eggs, they're narrative grammar. The film doesn't shout its secrets, it whispers them in the language of cinema, and most viewers, caught in the emotional current, never hear the syntax. Genre 7. The conflict. Despite its eventual success, The Sixth Sense faced internal resistance from the start. Disney executives were baffled by the script's quiet tone and lack of traditional scares. One studio memo reportedly asked, "Where's the monster?" Marketing teams struggled to sell a ghost story without jump scares or gore. Early test screenings confused some audiences. Several viewers walked out thinking Malcolm was just emotionally distant, not deceased. Shyamalan fought to preserve the film's ambiguity, resisting pressure to add exposition or clarify the rules of the afterlife. He also clashed with producers over the ending. Some suggested revealing Malcolm's death earlier to ease the audience into the twist. Shyamalan refused. The power is in the not knowing, he argued. If you explain it, it becomes a gimmick. His stance was vindicated when critics praised the film's restraint. Roger Ebert called it a masterpiece of mood and implication. But the real victory was cultural. The film proved that mainstream audiences would embrace subtlety if the emotion was true. The conflict wasn't just about a twist. It was about trust in the audience, in the medium, in silence. Fate. The irony. Here's the irony no one saw coming. The Sixth Sense became famous for a twist that almost ruined it. After its release, I See Dead People entered the lexicon, but so did spoiling the ending. Friends warned friends. Critics debated whether the twist held up on repeat viewings. Some accused Shyamalan of deception. Yet the film's true legacy isn't the surprise. It's how it redefined what a twist could be. Unlike cheap gotchas, this revelation deepens the story. On a second watch, every interaction gains new meaning. Malcolm's failed attempts to connect with Anna aren't just sad, they're tragic. His dedication to helping Cole isn't just professional, it's his only path to peace. The twist doesn't negate the first viewing, it transforms it. And in a strange echo, Shyamalan himself became haunted by the success of The Sixth Sense. For years, audiences expected another twist from him, judging his later films by that single standard. The very device that launched his career became a ghost he couldn't outrun. Life mirrored art. Both the filmmaker and his protagonist were trapped by perceptions they couldn't control. Jane. The breakthrough. The Sixth Sense didn't just succeed, it shifted the landscape. It proved that original, dialogue-driven thrillers could dominate summer box offices. It revived interest in psychological horror, paving the way for films like The Others and Insidious. More importantly, it changed how filmmakers approached narrative structure. The Shyamalan twist became shorthand, but the real influence was subtler. Directors began studying how to embed clues without telegraphing them, how to use performance and mise-en-scène to carry thematic weight. Haley Joel Osment's performance redefined what child actors could do on screen, earning him an Oscar nomination at age 11, the youngest ever in the supporting category at the time. Bruce Willis, often dismissed as a pure action star, gained critical credibility. And Shyamalan? He became the rare auteur with blockbuster clout. But the film's most enduring breakthrough is emotional. It taught audiences to watch differently. Not for jumps, not for shocks, but for silence, for glances, for the spaces between words. It didn't shout. It endured. Ripple effects. In the decades since, The Sixth Sense has seeped into the DNA of storytelling. TV shows like Lost, Westworld, and The Leftovers borrowed its method of embedding metaphysical questions within intimate drama. Films like Fight Club and Shutter Island followed its lead in using unreliable perspectives to explore trauma. Even video games, Heavy Rain, What Remains of Edith Finch, owe a debt to its emotional minimalism. Beyond craft, the film reshaped representation. Shyamalan, as a non-white director telling a universal story without exoticizing his background, opened doors for filmmakers like Jordan Peele and Emerald Fennell. And culturally, the phrase "I see dead people" transcended parody to become a genuine expression of childhood vulnerability. Parents quote it when their kids confess fears. Therapists reference it when discussing perception and reality. The film's legacy isn't just in its imitators, it's in how it gave permission to treat the supernatural as a metaphor for human pain. Audiences still return to it, not for the twist, but for the ache beneath it, the longing to be seen, to be heard, to matter, even after you're gone. Second, why it endures. So why does The Sixth Sense still move us 25 years later? Because beneath the ghosts and the twist lies a simple, devastating truth. Grief isolates. Malcolm isn't just dead, he's stuck in the liminal space between life and whatever comes next, unable to reach the people he loves. Cole, too, is isolated, not by death, but by a gift no one understands. Their connection isn't supernatural, it's human. Two lonely souls finding each other in the dark. That's the hidden layer most fans never figured out. The film isn't about seeing dead people. It's about being seen. Every quiet moment, the hospital scene, the tape recorder confession, the final whisper to Anna, is a plea for recognition. And Shyamalan's genius was making us feel that plea without ever stating it outright. Watch again with fresh eyes, and you'll realize the real miracle isn't that Cole sees ghosts. It's that, for a little while, Malcolm isn't alone. That's why the film endures. Not because of how it ends, but because of how deeply it understands what it means to be unseen, and how desperately we all want to be known. Tondis, rewatch with fresh eyes. Now that you know what to look for, go back. Watch The Sixth Sense. Not for the twist, but for the tenderness beneath it, the glances that linger too long, the silences that speak louder than words, the colors that guide you like breadcrumbs through sorrow. Ask yourself in the comments, which moment hit you hardest on your latest viewing? Was it Malcolm's hand passing through the doorknob? Or Cole's whispered, "They only see what they want to see"? However you answer, one thing remains true. This film rewards attention, empathy, and patience. If it moved you once, it will move you again, deeper, quieter, truer. Don't forget to like this video if you've ever watched a movie twice and discovered a whole new story waiting in the shadows.